Don't let heat stroke interrupt your summer fun. Here's what you should know to stay safe in the summer heat. So heat stroke is a medical emergency where your body's ability to cool itself becomes overwhelmed. So you can get heat stroke indoors, outdoors. You don't have to be exercising. It can be just an extended period outside in the heat. So that's why you see people that just expect, okay, I'm out gardening, I'm just standing in the heat, or I'm outside just sunbathing. Those people can get heat stroke too, and I think it's important to know that. Everyone is at risk for heat stroke, but those that are in increased risk would be babies, small children, the older adults, and people with certain medical conditions like those that have heart disease, obesity, and certain medications can do it too, like some blood pressure medications like beta blockers and diuretics. And the other population that I think about are people that just aren't used to the heat. So once you have people that go outside, it takes your body about 2 weeks to get used to exercise or being outside in the heat. So that's when we see the greatest risk of heat illness and heat stroke. So the signs of heat stroke or heat illness can occur very quickly, especially if you have some of the risk factors that we discussed. The signs of heat illness would be headache, nausea, dizziness, fatigue, but then you think about the signs of the more severe type of heat illness, heat stroke, would be your temperature gets above 104 degrees, but then those people also have things like lethargy, confusion, and even hallucinations that we've seen in some patients. The warning signs for children are very similar, though children, especially young children, may not tell you, hey, I have a headache. So you have to be a little bit more aware of them and see if they're slowing down and be more proactive and make sure that you make them take breaks, even if they want to be outside and play with their friends. They can play inside a little bit. Now, if you do become overheated, make sure you get out of the heat first of all, ideally into a cool air-conditioned room. If that's not available, into the shade. If you're able to drink cool liquids, as they'll cool the body down faster, remove any excessive clothing that you have on at the time, and you can also apply ice packs to things like your chest, under your armpits, over your abdomen, in the groin area, which will help cool the body faster, and elevate your legs too to make sure that you get some of that blood flowing back to your heart. Hopefully you're not alone if you start to experience some of these severe heat illness symptoms, but if you notice that, well, I'm still feeling pretty hot, my headache's getting worse, I'm getting more dizzy, that's probably a time when you should call 911 to get some help. If you notice that somebody else has those symptoms and they seem to be worsening, then certainly that's a time to call 911 too. So there are a number of steps that you can take to prevent heat stroke. So first and foremost, try to minimize how much you're outside in the heat, which sounds like common sense, I know. Take frequent breaks, which ideally are indoors or in the shade if you can't get into an air-conditioned room. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And I will say that if you are outside for more than an hour, you probably should also have some fluids that have some electrolytes in them. Another thing is the type of clothing that you wear. It should be light colored, loose, be made of fabrics that are kind of wicking. So cotton is not the best material because it tends to hold the sweat on you, and you're more likely to have heat illness or heat stroke. And if you can, whether you're exercising or working outside, try to do so early in the day or late in the day, where the temperatures and the humidity is not as bad, which will also minimize your risk of heat stroke. And just in general, know what the signs and symptoms are of heat stroke and heat illness so that if you experience those, that you can go inside or into a shaded area. It's important to know the warning signs of heat stroke and how to treat it and prevent it. And if you follow these tips, you can stay safe on summer days.